I try in this book to talk about the big political and economic changes in Australia. When I entered Parliament in 1974, the world was still defined by the Cold War. We still had a Berlin Wall. It was, 14 years before the Berlin Wall fell. Political parties were different then. There were more people in political parties, particularly the Labor Party, but this is an issue for us as well, who'd had some real life's experience outside politics. The book concentrates very heavily on the great economic reforms of the last quarter of a century. In a sense, the sub-theme of the book is the contribution I tried to make both in government and in opposition to the big economic changes that have taken place and were in no small measure responsible for this country being in a better shape than any other Western country to withstand the impact of the global financial crisis when it hit in 2008. A defining difference, though, that I do bring out very strongly and with some feeling in the book is that whereas when we were in opposition, we supported many of the major reforms of the Hawke-Keating governments, by contrast, when we were in government, we received no support at all from the Labor Party in relation to any of the difficult economic reforms that we implemented. And I think it is important to remember, and this is as relevant today as it was in those years, it's important to remember that political parties have responsibilities in opposition as well as having responsibilities in government. Oppositions have a responsibility to oppose, but they also have a responsibility to support. And I must say, I hope not sounding too partisan, that when I hear lectures from the current government about the need for the opposition to be constructive and bipartisan, I do roll my eyes a little and think of all the support that I received from the Labor Party in relation to the GST, in relation to the privatisation of Telstra, in relation to industrial relations reform, and so the list goes on. Inevitably, of course, in any political party, ambitions will collide. And I naturally have addressed in the book some of the difficulties in the relationship between Peter and me concerning the leadership of the party. To have avoided that would have been to have fallen short in my obligations as a writer of those times. I owe enormously to the Liberal Party. I love the Liberal Party and I will for the rest of my life. Without the Liberal Party, I wouldn't have been a Member of Parliament, I wouldn't have been a Minister, I wouldn't have been a Prime Minister. And I think we should all remember that. And I take this opportunity because there's in the room another Liberal Party leader, that's Barry O'Farrell, of wishing him every good fortune. And can I simply say that I find as I move around New South Wales an absolute hunger for a change of government, and we wish you well when the election takes place. But my friends, thank you very, very much for coming. I hope you read the book. It's a good read. It's quite a long read, but it's a long story.